Christmas. The word alone evokes images of warm lights twinkling through frosted windows, the rich scent of spiced cookies lingering in kitchens, and streets alive with carolers humming melodies that seem older than memory itself. For most, it is a season of joy, of giving and receiving, of laughter echoing through halls adorned with ornaments and garlands. Yet, there exists a curious, quietly unsettling group of people who move through this season untouched by its cheer, unmarked by its warmth, as if an invisible barrier shields them from the collective excitement around them. They are those who skip the Christmas spirit. At first glance, it is easy to mistake these individuals for mere cynics or busy souls too occupied to indulge in festive frivolity. But the truth is often far more complex and infinitely more human. They are not always grumpy, nor are they invariably lonely. They may smile when someone wishes them a Merry Christmas, nod politely at decorated storefronts, or even partake in the practical aspects of the season without ever truly entering its emotional current. The reasons for their detachment are as varied as the people themselves. For some, the season is a reminder of loss, of loved ones absent or memories too painful to revisit. For others, it is a mirror reflecting unfulfilled expectations, a time when the contrast between imagined warmth and lived reality becomes painfully sharp. There are those who simply find the rituals alien, their hearts indifferent to tinsel and jingles, the brightness of lights unable to pierce their habitual gray. Psychologists suggest that the Christmas season, with its intense focus on joy, connection, and celebration, can sometimes amplify feelings of disconnection in those already struggling with depression, anxiety, or grief. The omnipresent cheer acts as a magnifying glass on emotional absence. For these individuals, holiday gatherings can be a gauntlet of awkward smiles, feigned enthusiasm, and hollow exchanges. Each greeting of Merry Christmas feels like a reminder that they are somehow out of step with the world around them. They do not wish to reject the season out of malice, but rather because engagement can feel impossible or even dangerous to their fragile equilibrium. Yet, there is another subset of those who skip the Christmas spirit, and their case is even more curious. They are not burdened by sorrow, nor disillusioned by tradition. Instead, they possess a deep, almost philosophical indifference to the seasonal tide of excitement. For them, the calendar date holds no sway over emotional rhythms. December remains December, no different from March or July. A day measured not in lights and carols but in the ordinary cadence of life. They observe the world celebrating, sometimes with detached fascination, other times with mild amusement. Their lives are full, rich with meaning outside the prescribed joys of holiday rituals, and yet this detachment is often misunderstood by those swept into the seasonal current. Friends and family may see them as cold or selfish, unable to grasp that the absence of celebration is not rooted in opposition but in genuine disinterest. Interestingly, the social dynamics surrounding these individuals reveal much about collective human behavior. The Christmas season, with its nearly universal cultural imprint, functions as a social expectation, a performance whose scripts are deeply ingrained. Those who abstain disrupt this performance, challenging implicit norms in subtle but significant ways. People may ask repeatedly why they do not decorate or participate, their curiosity mingled with mild offense, as if nonconformity were an act of defiance rather than a personal truth. In workplaces, offices, and social circles, the detached observer becomes a silent anomaly, a shadow moving through a space otherwise dominated by festivity. Some of these observers respond with humor, making jokes about their disinterest, while others retreat into the background, preferring solitude over explanations. There is also a layer of cultural and historical complexity to consider. Not all individuals who skip the Christmas spirit come from backgrounds steeped in the holiday's traditions. In multicultural societies, some may have grown up outside Christian practices, their upbringing devoid of the rituals and songs that define the season for many. Yet, even those who have experienced Christmas as a child sometimes arrive at adulthood with a disenchanted perspective. For some, early memories of family tensions, unmet expectations, or personal disappointments clouded the holiday, leaving a residue of skepticism that grows with age. The season's sensory bombardment, lights, smells, music, and crowds, can feel more overwhelming than enchanting, and the resulting avoidance is less a rejection than a protective measure. Moreover, the commercial machinery of Christmas contributes to the curious detachment. Advertisements promising perfect experiences, gifts that guarantee happiness, and meticulously curated social media images create an illusion of unanimity, a collective narrative of joy and abundance. For those who feel disconnected, this can be alienating, reinforcing the sense of being out of step with the world. The insistence on external symbols of happiness highlights the internal absence of it, making disengagement a rational, if socially awkward, response. In this sense, skipping the Christmas spirit can be seen as an act of self-preservation, a refusal to perform emotional labor that feels inauthentic. It is important, however, not to romanticize or pathologize this detachment. Many who bypass the holidays' traditional enthusiasm experience life with a different intensity, a quieter appreciation of time and relationships that does not depend on seasonal markers. Some use the period for introspection, creativity, or meaningful work, finding joy in acts and moments unrelated to lights and carols. Others extend compassion beyond the temporal confines of the season, offering help and presence in ways less ostentatious but no less valuable. Their lives remind us that human connection and fulfillment need not be bound to ritualized calendars. Yet, society often pressures them to conform subtly or overtly. Invitations abound, sales are aggressive, and greetings are almost unavoidable. Non-participation can carry a social cost, ostracism, judgment, or gentle but persistent attempts at persuasion. The curious case, then, lies in the tension between individual autonomy and communal expectation. These people negotiate the season on their own terms, balancing personal comfort with social niceties, often experiencing internal conflict as they do. They may smile, nod, or exchange greetings without surrendering their emotional independence, maintaining a delicate equilibrium between engagement and detachment. Interestingly, there are stories of transformation even among those who habitually skip the Christmas spirit. Some discover that their skepticism softens when approached with patience and genuine connection, finding joy not in the spectacle but in intimate, unpressured moments. A shared cup of tea, a quiet conversation, or witnessing a small act of kindness can open a door previously ignored. Conversely, others reaffirm their indifference, realizing that the season's emotional intensity is not necessary for their own contentment or moral compass. Both paths are valid, each a testimony to the diversity of human experience. The curious case also has philosophical undertones. Those who abstain force observers to question the assumptions underlying cultural conformity. Must joy be performative to be real? Can happiness exist quietly without fanfare? In resisting the prescribed expressions of festivity, these individuals highlight the difference between external ritual and internal state, challenging society to reconsider what it means to celebrate. Their quiet defiance, or perhaps their quiet autonomy, serves as a mirror, reflecting the multiplicity of human responses to shared cultural events. On a practical level, communities have begun to recognize the importance of inclusion for those who approach the season differently. Workplaces are experimenting with voluntary decorations and celebrations, public spaces offer calm retreats amidst the chaos, and conversations increasingly acknowledge that not everyone experiences December in the same way. These accommodations do not seek to enforce joy but to respect diversity, allowing those who skip the Christmas spirit to navigate the season without judgment or coercion. Ultimately, the curious case of those who skip the Christmas spirit is not a tale of deficiency but of alternative rhythm. It reminds us that human emotion cannot be dictated by calendars, that authenticity sometimes requires detachment, and that joy need not be uniform to be meaningful. It teaches empathy, patience, and the acknowledgement that participation is a choice, not an obligation. Those who move through the season untouched by its cheer challenge conventional narratives, inviting reflection on what it truly means to be human in a world obsessed with synchronized celebration. And so, as Christmas approaches with its familiar clamor of lights, music, and ritual, consider those who watch quietly from the edges, neither resisting nor embracing, simply existing in their own rhythm. Their presence is a subtle correction to the assumption that seasonal joy is universal, a reminder that every heart beats to its own cadence. In a way, they are not missing anything. They are simply living authentically, navigating the curious intersection of expectation and individual experience. The curious case of those who skip the Christmas spirit, in the end, is not one of loss, but of a different kind of presence, one that asks us to reconsider our definitions of celebration, connection, and the quiet joys that often go unnoticed in the glare of tradition.